morning, everyone. Welcome back to the biology videos to learn new topic for 9th standard. That is, actually we are discussing about the diversity of living organisms. In that topic, we are discussing about a particular thing, that is classification of plantae kingdom. In that, with regards of this classification of plantae kingdom, we have discussed about the Thallophyta, Bryophyta as well as the Pteridophyta, that means cryptogams of the plantae kingdom. And today we are going to discuss about the phanerogams of the plantae kingdom. Phanerogams. The word phanerogams indicates that flowering plants. The plants which are belong to this category are flowering plants. They bear the flowers and they produce the seeds. Seed producing plants and flower bearing plants. These are all comes under the category of these phanerogams. Okay, and these phanerogams, as seeds are produced there, and the seeds, when you see the seeds, usually the seeds will be presented inside the fruit. Okay, understand? I think you might be seeing the mango. If you take it now, is season, mango season. Mango, if you take it after eating that one, inside seed will be presented. And if you take a sapota, if you take a watermelon, whatever the fruit if you take, most of the fruits, they are having the seeds inside. So seeds compulsory for the plants. Okay, these seed producing plants comes under the category of these phanerogams. Okay, and the seeds, when you take seeds, the seeds mostly present inside the fruit, and some of them present outside the fruit also. Outside the fruit also. They are visible for outside. Okay, and based on this seed, presence of the seed in the fruit, inside the fruit or outside the fruit, based on this, the phanerogams have been classified into two types. Once again, that is gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms and angiosperms. They are the two types of plants you can find it. Let us learn one by one this. First of all, gymnosperms. Gymno, naked. Sperms, seeds. So the plants which have the naked seeds means visible to outside. Means we can see the seeds. We can see the seeds from outside. Means the seeds are presented outside the fruit. They are not enclosed inside the fruit. Such type of plants are comes under the category of gymnosperms. Such type of plants comes under the category of gymnosperms, and those seeds are called as naked seeds. Example is Cycas pinus, coniferous trees, Ashoka tree. I think you might be seen in our surroundings. Mostly you can find it. Ashoka tree. These are all the best examples for the gymnosperms. But based on the location they present, the conditions of the environment they present, the gymnosperms are classified into, once again, two types. That is Cycads, pines. Cycads and pines. These are the two types. Cycads, pinots not. Cycads and coniferous. cycads and coniferous trees. Coniferous or coniferans, also we can say coniferous trees. There are the two types of gymnosperms we can find. Cycads, these are completely tropical region where the temperature is high. Where the temperature is high, in such areas we can find the cycads. Cycas, pinus, these are the best examples for cycads. These will grow in the tropical area, and these leaves are spiny like structures. Spines means like needles like structures will be there, not like broad leaves. So that is the cycads, and these are evergreen plants, temperate region plants complete. Big trees, usually these are trees and shrubs. I'll tell you what are the shrubs also. Okay. Next one is the coniferous trees. The trees which grow in the hilly areas. It means low temperature regions, cool areas. The trees which grow in the cool areas, those are all called as coniferous trees. Okay, and these are cone shaped structure will be there, and the leaves are arranged step by step, and these also evergreen plants. Okay, this is about the gymnosperms. And come to the next one is angiosperms. The plants which can bear the flowers and produce the seeds, they are called as angiosperms. Here angio, enclosed, sperms, seeds. The seeds which are enclosed in the fruit. The seeds which are enclosed in the fruit, as I told you example earlier, mango, the seed will be inside the fruit. Watermelon, the seeds are presented inside the fruit. Sapota, the seeds are presented inside the fruit. So like this, so many examples we can get it, and every fruit is having the seeds inside the fruit. That means seeds are enclosed inside the fruit. Such plants are called as angiosperms. In these plants, the flowers are the reproductive parts of these plants. The flowers are the reproductive parts of these plants. Okay, and seeds, maybe two types of seeds we can find it. Monocot seeds and dicot seeds. Monocot seeds and dicot seeds. When you take a seed, suppose if you take a bean seed if you take that, we can divide the bean seed into two equal halves. Okay, two equal halves, and it will be like this. Two equal halves you can find it here. Okay, so this is where the stored food material is presented here, and which is helpful for growth and development of the plant after the germination. That nutritive food material which is presented inside the seed, this is called cotyledon. The nutritive food material that is preserved in the seed, that is called as cotyledon. Also we can say seed leaf. And this will provide this cotyledon will provide the food to the plant after the germination until it produces food by itself. Okay, so that is called as cotyledon. If a seed contains two cotyledons in one seed, like in the bean seed, two cotyledons in one seed are called as dicot seeds, and these can be divided easily into two equal halves. Bean seeds, groundnut seeds, pea seeds, these are all comes under the category of dicot seeds. Okay, all the grams, all the leguminaceous plant seeds, and every these are all comes under the category of even that almond, cashew nut. These are all comes under the category of dicot seeds. Whereas monocot seed means the seed which contain the only one cotyledon. Only one cotyledon is presented in the seeds, that is called as monocot seeds. Rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, these all comes under the category of monocot seeds. Okay, so here based on the number of cotyledons, are presented in the seed, the angiosperms are classified into two groups once again. That is monocot plants and dicot plants. Monocot plant and dicot plants, two types of plants. Monocot plants, they have the only one cotyledon. Let us see the characteristics of the monocot plant. Monocot plant. The first one, characteristics of the monocot plant, the first one is only one cotyledon is presented. Only one cotyledon. Cotyledon is nothing but the seed leaf where the food, nutritive food is preserved, and it is provided that food to the germinating, that food to the plant after the germination until the plant prepares its own food. Okay, that is only one cotyledon is presented in the monocot plants. And the leaves, when you see the leaves of these plants, these are sharply ended and the veins are presented in a parallel direction. Parallel venation will be presented here. Parallel venation, you can see this one. The veins are presented opposite to each other and they travel like a two straight lines without crossing, like a railway line. How it will be there now? Same line. And this condition of venation is called as parallel venation. In the leaves we can find the parallel venation. Okay. Veins are arranged in the parallel way, parallel venation. And third characteristic is they have the fibrous root system. Roots. Fibrous roots means if you take the plant, the stem is presented like this, the stem is presented in this way, and every root is grown directly from the stem. Every root is grown directly from the stem, and root hair will be presented much. Every root is grown directly from the stem. This type of root system is called fibrous root system. Fibrous roots. Okay. So these are the three characteristics of the monocot plants. One is only one cotyledon is presented in the seed. The leaves are having the parallel venation in the leaves. And fibrous roots are presented, the roots which are grown directly from the stem, and these roots cannot grow deep into the soil, so that they will hold the soil on the upper layer. So these are very much important for the soil to hold the upper layer, that they maintain the fertility of the soil, fertility, the capacity of growing of plants of the soil, the capacity of the soil where the plants will grow abundantly, that is called as fertility, and that fertility will be preserved or will be held by only this fibrous roots. Okay, this is the major characteristic. These are the major characteristics of the monocot plants. Let us see dicot plants. Dicot plants. The first one, two cotyledons are present. Two cotyledons. Two cotyledons are present, so that these seeds can be divided into two equal halves. Okay, and these two cotyledons will be providing the nutritive food material for the upgrowing plant after the germination until the plant prepares its own food. Okay. Next, second category is if you see the leaves, suppose if you take a rose plant leaf, neem plant leaf, or hibiscus leaf, whatever the leaf if you take, the leaf is broader, the leaf lamella is broader. The leaf, this is called leaf lamella, it is very much broader and it has the midrib, it is the midrib, and veins are presented in a different manner. Veins are presented in a different manner, and for these veins, vein legs also presented. You might be understanding here. See, vein legs are presented here. So this is looks like a reticulated network. Reticulated network. So the veins are arranged in a reticulated manner in the leaves of the dicot plants. Reticulated venation can be seen. Reticulated venation. Reticulated venation in leaves. Reticulated venation can be seen in the leaves, and taproot system is presented. Taproot system. So the root system is entirely different here. So first of all, the roots, the mother root will be grown, large root, and it grows deep into the soil, and for this primary root, secondary roots will be growing. Secondary roots will be growing like this, and for the secondary roots, tertiary roots also presented. Tertiary roots are also presented. So this is called taproot system. Taproots. First primary root, secondary root, tertiary roots, and root hair also presented here. These are all together called as a taproot system. The main root, the primary root or the mother root, what is there, that will be goes deep into the soil and absorbs the water and supply the water to all the body parts of the plant. So this is the taproot system. And here you can find it in the monocot plants, fibrous root system is there. In the dicot plants, taproot system is there. So these are the major characteristics of the dicot plant. So beside of this, another one character is there, very very important, that is based on the flower. based on the flower. So when you go for the monocot plant, the flower is having 3 petals or multiples of 3 petals will be presented in the flower in monocot plant. Monocot flower. Whereas in the dicot flower, 4 petals or sometimes 5 petals, 4 petals or 5 petals. This is the petals. Four petals or 5 petals or multiples of the 4 and 5. 4 or 5. These petals will be presented. By seeing the petals of the flower also, easily we can identify whether the plant is a monocot plant or dicot plant. And by seeing the leaves, we can find easily whether it's a plant is a monocot plant or dicot plant. Okay. So this way the total plants have been classified into 2, that is angiosperms are classified into 2 types based on the number of cotyledons, monocot plants as well as the dicot plants. Okay, I hope you understood. Now, based on the place they located and based on the height they grow, based on the place they located, first of all discuss that. Based on the place they located, the plants are classified into 3 types. Location, based on the location, the plants are classified into 3 types, that is xerophytes, hydrophytes and mesophytes. Xerophytes, the plants which can grow in the areas with less water facility. The plants which can grow the areas with less water facility, those are all called as xerophytes. Simply we can say desert plants. The plants which can grow in the desert. The plants which can grow in the desert, those plants are called as desert plants. Example, cactus. Cactus is the best example. Date palms. These are the best examples for the desert plants. These can grow in the areas with less water facility. Okay. Next one, hydrophytes. The plants which can grow in the water, completely in the water. These plants are called as hydrophytes. Of course, these plants may be completely merged in the water or partially merged in the water. Especially the example, this is water plants, we can say that, or we can say aquatic plants. Example for these plants is lotus, hydrilla, etc. Vallisneria or some other plants like utricularia. These are all the best examples for hydrophytes. Okay. Next one is mesophytes. The plants which grow on the land. Terrestrial plants, all terrestrial plants, the plants which grow in the forest, which grow in the hilly places, which grow in the plains, everywhere in our surroundings, where they are presenting, those all plants comes under the category of mesophytes. Examples for these mesophytes are all the plants you can say hibiscus, neem, mango, so many plants, all the plants we can consider as a mesophytes. This is the plants which are placed in a particular area based on the location, the plants are classified into three types. And based on the height of the plant, based on the height of the plant, the plants are classified into, based on the height of the plant, the plants are classified into three types once again. Herbs, shrubs, trees. Herbs, the plants which grow up to 1 meter height, up to 1 meter height. Those are all called as herbs. All the agricultural plants comes under the category of herbs, and all the medicinal plants comes under the category of herbs, like rice, wheat, this is tulasi. These all plants comes under the category of herbs. All the medicinal plants, all the agricultural plants, all the vegetables, these all comes under the category of herbs. These grow up to 1 meter height. And the shrubs means the plants which grow from, the plants which grow up to 5 meters height. 5 meters, not sorry, 5 feet height. 5 feet height. And those will be bushy in nature, like hibiscus, rose. These all comes under the category of shrubs. These will be 5 feet height will be there. Bushy in nature means the number of plants together grow at one place. And comes to the next one is the trees. These grow up to 110 feet height. 110 feet height. Indian rosewood is the plant, world tallest plant. Indian rosewood, 110 feet height. Those are all comes under the category of trees, like neem tree, neem, banyan, people, all comes under the category of trees. These will grow lots of height, more than the 5, 6, 7, 8, almost up to 110 feet height they can grow. So based on this height, these plants are classified into three types: herbs, shrubs, as well as the trees. So this is the classification of plants. And next video we are going to discuss about the classification of animals. Okay, thank you. 28.